I never thought I would see the day where I had to sit down and have this full-blown argument and try to convince somebody that it's scientific to say a man cannot get pregnant. Like, what's the explanation for this insanity? The answer is this. It's really simple, folks. It's spiritual. There is spiritual darkness that has encumbered the world. Here's a question. Do you guys find yourself looking around the world today and just thinking, has everybody lost their minds? I'm not being, belittling. I'm not trying to diminish anybody. I'm just saying, look at the basic things that are happening everywhere we go, everything we see, and it just seems as though people are crazy. I mean, they believe men can get pregnant. We're talking about the idea that children are being exploited in schools and the teachers that are exploiting them are being called heroes. We are actually becoming outcasts and called terrorists in society because we stand up for Christian values. And I'm even hearing about people who are looking at just literally blatant sinful issues and just act as though there's nothing wrong with it. We see gay pride flags in front of churches. We see city entities actually flying those flags. We begin to see people praising and lifting up workers of evil, workers of darkness, iniquity, and it seems as though everywhere you look, the lights are getting dimmer, the world is getting darker, and it's actually being called good when it is inherently evil. I just had somebody tell me the other day that they thought it was crazy that we're homeschooling our children, even though our children are already outperforming students that are a year or two ahead of them in public school. You think, what in the world is wrong? Why can't people see this? I mean, it's basic. I never thought I would see the day where I had to sit down and have this full-blown argument and try to convince somebody that it's scientific to say a man cannot get pregnant. Like, what's the explanation for this insanity? The answer is this. It's really simple, folks. It's spiritual. There is spiritual darkness that has encumbered the world. The Bible says that in the last days, we know that people are going to call wrong right and right wrong. We know that people are going to look at darkness and they are going to praise it as though it is light. Folks, understand what's happening right now. There is a darkness that is encompassing our land, and that darkness is being brought about by heavy demonic oppression and interaction, and we refuse to call it out. We refuse to point out what is blatantly and painfully obvious, and the problem is getting worse because we continue to pretend as though it's not a problem. Yes, even in the churches, we stand behind principles that are not biblical, and we think that everything can be dealt with using some weird sense of unity and understanding and explanation, and people hide behind the gospel. You understand that people hid behind the gospel when Jews were getting gassed in Germany in the 1940s? And yes, it seems derogatory the way I'm saying it, but it's true. We have to wake up, folks. We have to recognize what's really going on. The passage that we are going to be dealing with today, yes, if you're watching this, of course, it's Sunday morning, the day that it's being released. And in the book of Matthew, we are going to get to the end of chapter 21, when Jesus talks about the very fact that there would be people that would be offended by him and treat him with terrible disdain, not recognizing that those who stand on the wrong side of history will allow themselves to be destroyed because of the things that they stood for, yet the people who suffer persecution for holding up the right things will actually be honored by God. We need to take heed to words like that, and we need to remember the day and the time that we're in. We need to understand what we're facing in society today, and folks, we've got to wake up. The truth is the truth. We need to recognize what's really happening in the world in which we live today, and we need to understand that if it is a spiritual problem, it ends with the spiritual solution. It's time to wake up, folks. The truth is out there, and only God brings that truth to us. We need to understand what it is and recognize things for what they are. It's time to deal with the spiritual using spiritual tools. Plain and simple. God bless you guys.